Hey, let's go. Let's get this podcast going. What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, I got lots on the mind, young man, but
You got lots on your mind?
how's things on your end? It's been a while, so
It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I've been busy. I've been busy since I got promoted at work. So it's just kind of been a grind. Working. Sometimes I work, 16-hour shifts, and it's just, yeah,
wow. So what are you
yeah.
doing now? Where are you at?
I'm still a childcare supervisor, so which is good.
Nice.
Take care of kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Um, it's actually decent money for the work that I do.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like yeah. So that's what I do for now.
you're probably learning a lot too, man. There's probably a lot of lessons that you're getting out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like life lessons, man. Like so much you could learn from. Like first, taking care of babies. Like how to take care of a baby. Like that's gonna come in the future. Who knows? So that,
100%. Yeah.
that's
Uh,
pretty much like my training for to be an adult, to be
yeah.
a
To me,
dad, to be a dad.
it will make you grow up a lot faster too, I bet. So
For sure. Yeah, no. Like it's fun job, man. Like taking care of kids, taking them out, go out for, do whatever they want to do. It's fun, but it gets stressful sometimes from time to time because you get kids like behavioral kids who are like, 10, 11, 12. They're just, won't listen because they have their own mind. They kind of have to like you kind of have to like work with them one on one. It's kind of like for some situations, yeah, it's really tough. But with babies, it's kind of like chill, kind of like relaxing, because babies don't really do much. But with toddlers
it,
too,
it
toddlers a lot of work, man. Like, oh my
yeah.
god, yeah. Toddlers, they're fun, but they're a lot of work. But
How many kids do you generally deal with on a day?
um, it kind of depends because right now we only where our house only takes 5 kids, so it kind of depends on the house too because of the fire safety and all that. So yeah, we only take 5 kids in our house. Some house take more than five, some take less, some take four. So yeah, our house only takes five, and right now we have 4 kids, and the toddlers are going home. The two toddlers are going home. A 1 year old and a 2 year old are going home. So um, we're gonna have the 10 year old and a baby now. So that's gonna be the only kids that's left.
Hmm.
Yes. So
This is
y-
actually a good topic of conversation because especially at my age, more my age than your age, but I think most of the people at my age are families, have kids,
oh yeah.
have started that, and I find that the percentage of people today that I've met, even in my age range,
Mhm.
has gone of people who choose not to have children.
Right. Right.
I think rising, but it seems like the number is going up. Uh, like I know you've been
Yeah.
in a relationship for a while, and I know maybe you guys haven't had a talk like that. But is that something that you have made a decision on in your life? Like not with her, of course, but just you
Yeah.
yourself. Like, do you want kids? Do you feel like that's something that you want in your future?
Honestly, I honestly think why like adults these days, honestly, they don't have kids no more because the reason why kids take like a lot of time, like 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Wild.
everybody's busy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's busy. They're doing their own thing. They're kind of working. Everybody's just doing their own thing, and I don't think kids are just. I think that's why it's declining too. Like the growth in America, I think, they're not growing as much as before. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
people are not having kids as much.
yeah, and I think that I think you nailed it. Where people are kind of doing their own thing. I think we've set a very high goals and expectations for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Like, you know, uh, I've obviously reached a good place in my career, but I don't know that. And I'm not saying it's not enough. I'm saying is this is kind of just a step in me, not the end of the journey, or not what all that I've
Definitely.
reached or whole life for. So I think for some people who are like me, it's like, okay, I need to get some of these things taken care of first. And trust me, man, I know I was and am ambitious for the things that I'm trying to accomplish in my life. So I think that's a part of it. I think everyone's ambitions have grown. I think everybody's focus has
Oh,
grown, and
definitely.
males. I think females the same. You know, they have this focus of, hey, I want to build a business, or I want to, you know, and I've always said this for people, for myself, like when I have, because I still do want to have children, and you know, that's a choice I still will make. But when I do, I don't want to not have time to spend with them, you know.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
people in my business, I look at some of these guys and they're working, yeah, like you said, if you're working 16 hours a day, when do you have time for your children? You know,
Exactly.
my parents had the same problem, you know, and all the love to them because they sacrificed for me, and my brothers. But I also think, like, you know, I would never not want to be able to spend that. I would have difficulties having a child. I would have difficulties, not even a child, having a dog.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? And being
Dogs are
like,
like babies too, honestly.
yeah, exactly. And like leaving the dog for the whole day in a kennel, or
Yeah.
like, I don't know that that's fair to them, I guess. So,
I don't think it's fair, honestly. Like, I don't get why people get dogs too. Like, but they're in an apartment, you know. Like,
yeah,
dogs
yeah,
are just, you know, they need to explore. They're in the wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe
that's right.
farm. If you live in a farm, maybe, yeah, maybe dogs are okay. But in the city, I don't know if, maybe if you have like a really big house and you have like a maybe stay at home job. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that kind of job. Like, maybe that would
Or
work out
freedom,
perfect for
like
you.
some
Yeah,
freedom,
exactly.
back and forth, or, you know, because I have a few people who work here and they're like, oh, I got to go let my dog out, or I got to go. And hey, you know, all the love for your dog, but that's a responsibility that you're you know, carrying all
Yeah,
the time. And then I
yeah,
think about it,
exactly.
travel or who want to do other things. Like, I tell people all the time, I'd love to have dogs, I'd love to have many dogs, but I don't have the time to go and let them out or feed them, or,
Yeah,
you know, I feel like I'd forget. I feel like, you know, I
honestly,
feel like,
yeah, that is so true.
I don't
I
know, I
think
just,
I think most people who gets dogs are the people who's got like a baby like the first year or two. You know what I
that,
mean? I think
that's right.
that's what I've been noticing with the people around. You know, like they usually have a baby if they have a dog. You know, like it kind of like goes together for most
That,
people because they're like, oh, I'm having a baby. I'm gonna be staying home most of the time, so I might as well get a dog, right?
hmm
I think it kind of works like that for most people, but you know, for our generation or for the generation, the new generation, and maybe for some of the people like older generations too, you know, some of their mindsets different for sure. Like they would, you know, like time management is really important for them. Like, yeah, it just doesn't work for everybody.
yeah, they want to maybe see more of the world. Like, I tell people a lot, you know, obviously
Yeah,
COVID's a lot of that, but I think about it like, if you have a child, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying it's a lot more difficult, and you're not
yeah,
doing the same things with a child, you know.
yeah,
You're not. And again, for me, it's like, yeah, I always tell people, like, I want to go to a party in like Ibiza and just jam and have a good time. Well, you
yeah.
can't do that with a kid, you know, or
No,
if you
no,
do,
no.
you know, like, there's just sacrifices, I think. And
There
again,
is.
that's not, you know, obviously it's getting shorter, because I'd love to take care of those things before I get too old, because, you know, and I think about like some of the people I know, like even my ex, you know, their focus is like, I want to, I remember her saying, like, I want to be a young hot mom. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
well, yeah, that's great, but I think the better thing to think about, that she did say, she had a really good point, was, you don't want to be too old when your kids are getting older, you
that's
know.
true. Yeah,
Like,
that's
you don't
true.
want to be in a, like, think about this, if you have a child at 20, when your kid turns 20, you'll be 40. 40 is not crazy old, but
No,
let's say
no.
you had a kid when you're 30, your kid will be 20 when you're 50, you know. So these are things
Yeah,
to kind
exactly,
of,
exactly. Yeah.
like, have a kid at 40, I'll be 60 if my kid is 20. Like, that's a pretty, and she, what she talked about was just energy, you know, like, are you going to have the energy, are you going to be too tired? I think that all will play a factor. I think that
Yeah,
all play.
exactly. I think so too. Yeah, no, I think so too. Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
part of where this conversation stems, and I don't know if you'd even be interested in something like this. I can't remember what the
yeah,
study was.
let's shoot it. Let's shoot it.
But
I'm ready to talk whatever we want to you want to talk about.
there was a study about mice. I know this is interesting, but uh,
Mice?
I'm gonna try to find I'm going to try to find the article and see what it was called. Um, where was it? So here, really quickly, it was a study in 19 from
Here,
1960.
send me link so I can show it on the video.
Okay, here I'm gonna try to. I'll find the exact link. I'll send it to you on Facebook. Uh, it's basically a gentleman called Calhoun,
Oh yeah.
and basically what he put together was a rat or a mice sanctuary. You're gonna laugh about this, but it's basically gave a bunch of mice, brought a bunch of mice together, and gave them unlimited food, unlimited water. It basically made this like rodent utopia, is what they call it.
Oh yeah.
And eventually, the study is that, like, long story short, you'll have to go through it. I can't remember what it was called.
Is it my
Universe 25. Universe 25 is the, and basically what it talks about is a complete and utter like breakdown in society. And they say that it reflects upon what would happen in the world. So I'll show it to you. Now, I
Oh.
just
Okay.
chose the
Well.
first article here.
Yeah.
I'll
Have
send
you
it.
read it? And do you know the article already? Yeah. Oh yeah. Just
Yeah,
explain it. Let's just explain. Just explain it to me. I'll probably just,
yeah,
I'll get
yeah.
the hang of it.
So basically, what happens is they took a bunch of mice. They would they would feed them. They gave them all the food and all the water in the world. So basically, their survival necessities, all the necessities they needed, they had. So they didn't need
Yeah.
to go and search or hunt or anything like that. So at first they would meet, and then they would mate and breed
Yeah.
in large quantities. So eventually everything was kind of normal in a sense. It was predator free, so they didn't have to worry about being killed
Yeah.
or anything like
So they're pretty much like in a like safe cage or like
that. Exactly.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
food
yeah,
given,
exactly.
and then what would happen is eventually it would level off. And when it reached a certain point, and I can't remember what the number was, but what they're saying here is eventually it would level off, and the rodents would develop either hostile or clique-ish or passive antisocial behaviors. So basically, they reached a certain point in their life where there was enough people, and there were certain people who started to withdraw from the other crowds, and then eventually they became like they almost created like little gangs and divided each other up. These are mice, by the way,
Yeah,
and then they became hostile. So basically, what the experiment was meant to prove, or what they reference it is that basically this is how our society will eventually go, and is in a sense happening as we speak. So
oh yeah, that is so true. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's
just the world right now. Countries with countries, countries against countries. You know,
exactly, and
it's
not even
happening.
yeah, exactly, and not only that, like I think about. I was just talking with my team the other day about it, like before, like during when COVID was happening, what was online, right? And I always talk about this: stop Asian hate, Black Lives Matter. I don't know more was before that. Like all these different racial things that kind of divided us in such a different
Yeah,
way. And it's weird because I saw this come up on my feed one day, and I go, holy shit! Like, it is changing the social status. It is changing everything,
that
and
is so true. Oh my god.
and the other day I said to somebody, I go, like, it's kind of like how vaccinations are in our world right now, like you cannot, like, for instance, Black Lives Matter. Everybody put like a black square on their Instagram or
Yeah, or
whatever.
just a black
So
profile picture or
that,
whatever.
that's right. And it's interesting about that because a lot of people basically you had a choice to either participate or not participate.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
would get mad at you if you didn't put up a black square.
Yep, yep.
But today, what I was talking about with the vaccination is you have to make a choice. Like they're forcing you to go, okay,
That is so
you
true.
either
Yeah.
are vaccinated or you're not. And if you aren't, like
You could lose your
you're basically,
job.
yeah, you're basically getting
Yeah,
shunned and put in the world. And in a sense, it's creating a lot of this, this separation. And in the study, again, it's called Universe 25. Basically, it eventually levels off so much that the mortality rate continued to rise. So they ended up killing each other. Like they ended up
ooh,
going and attacking each other and doing all these weird, like
yeah.
almost like psychotic
Just like
tendencies.
what's happening today, riots and all that, police and
Everybody's being, and the other part in this that was interesting is the reproductive rate dropped. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so they changed how like people thought, and it makes sense because I think about not even my generation, but even a younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I think about some of well, I would say your generation. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you're in a good strong relationship, but there are so many people in that generation that's like hookup culture, right?
yeah,
That's like,
exactly.
hey, we're just trying to smash and we're just trying to have a good time. And hey, I understand because if you are not quite ready to settle down, then yes, you should enjoy life. I
Definitely, yeah.
found though, and I'm saying this even just not necessarily in my life, but from the things I see, like there are people who get lost in that though, you know, like they end up like looking for the best person. It's like, well, you're never going to find the best person if you've had one person who's really good at this and another person who's really good at that and another person. So you almost like try to pick the
Yeah,
best things
yeah,
from,
yeah.
well, nobody can fulfill that perfect image, you know, that you
Exactly, exactly.
fantasized, right?
Yeah,
So I find
yeah,
that that is also part of what's happening with this
yeah.
study as well. That was interesting, and it talked about one group of people that completely like withdrew from all of society,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the only things they did is feed and groom themselves, like no reproductive, no social
Yeah, yeah.
tendency, no nothing. And I was like, dude,
That
they're
is
talking about
crazy.
me right now, like. You know, I was a little
Yeah.
distressed. Man,
You
I'm
just
like,
kind
are
of pull
you
that
serious?
yourself to society, and you're just kind of like having your own life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And you know what? Like, yeah, truly, I don't blame people for feeling that way. The world is in a funny place right now.
It
It's
is.
difficult.
It
Like,
is in a weird place with the technology wise, with everything that's
yeah,
just going on. Like 100 years ago, like there was no such thing as technology, and then dating was not as crazy as now because you can't. There's no way you could contact anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no
that,
way for you to go look on like let's say Tinder. You know, like swipe left and right. It's so easy nowadays, but
well,
back in the day, you can't do that. So kind of people could just kind of like stay in relationship longer.
that's right. And they fix what's broken, or
Exactly. They fix everything. Yeah.
right. So it is a different world. And actually, like our consumption, even if you look at electronics, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
I would like how many people are going through phones like crazy.
Man,
Like
I don't even know how to. There's lots,
it,
bro, lots. Even
it's
me,
just
I'm so
yeah,
addicted to like phone too. Like
yeah,
phones, it's just so addicting.
yeah. It is
Yeah,
because well, it gives you so much satisfaction, and again, it's not real satisfaction, but it gives you a sense of satisfaction right there.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
there it's instant. And I'll tell you, like a couple of things that I put into my phone to help me with that is there's like a thing that tells you how much time is spent on what.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you.
And I go, man, like even for myself, like and I'm happy because but almost every week my phone time goes down because I'm really trying to be really mindful of how much
Right,
time I spend.
right. Trying to be aware and time management. Yeah.
That's right. Now here's the thing though. When I'm not on that screen, I'm on a laptop. When I'm not on that screen, I might be playing Xbox, or when I'm not on that, I might be on my studio at home. You know, like so. I'm just saying, like I'm
Always on the
always in
screen.
front of the screen anyway.
That's
But I
so
also
me.
think the phone it has
Yeah,
crazy access, man. Like way more access. And when I say access, I think way more distractions, not access, way more distractions
yeah, for
than even
sure,
my
for
screen.
sure.
And
Like
even sit there and play Xbox, I know what I'm getting. I know I'm going to get mindless, you know, fun that I'm just going to get my mind off things. But like when I'm on my phone, I'm like, oh, I have to be productive. Well, I might not be because
yeah,
so many
exactly. Yeah, but
things.
well, there's many things that you could do with your phone because that's why there's a reason why you call it a smartphone because it's pretty much just like a small computer, just you could fit in your pocket pretty much.
That's,
You know what I'm saying? So like, it kind of depends on the stuff you do. Like phone is for most people they use phone as like social media, texting and calling and all that, right? But there's so many apps on the phone now that you could do where you could like do work. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like our work, we do our shift logs and all this stuff that we have to do, like communication book. We do
All
everything in the computer now, so like we could do it on our phone. So um there's another argument with phones too, with technology, like there's definitely an up and there's downs too. But You
It, it
depends on how you look at it, honestly,
but and depends on how
and
you use it,
how you
how,
use it. Yeah, exactly.
how you are. And that's one thing I've been trying to focus on. Like I set this thing. I've been trying to read more. To give you an idea, I'm reading a book right now.
Oh
Shout
yeah,
out to Dan. I'm
nice.
almost called the Atomic Habits, and it talks about how you're going to do of the harder things first, or the things that you don't like first, in order
Hey Google,
uh,
alarm off.
that
Sorry,
that's good.
yeah, my alarm just
That you
started going off.
earn the things that you don't, right? So, or to earn the things that you want to do versus the things that you need to do. So, like on one of my book apps, it will, and I think it was just like a default setting, so I just left it. But it gives me like a daily target or a daily goal. So sometimes I'll
Oh
sit
yeah,
down and have,
nice.
like, before I go to bed, I'll be like, I have to hit my daily goal first before I do certain things. So
Right.
it has helped me even in the slightest, but it does change like my graph when it
Exactly.
comes to all the
I
things.
need
Like,
that
okay,
app. I need an app like that. Like I need an app that would like give me the manage my time wisely because my time management right now is really poor. Like I would wake up around noon or like 11. I wake
mm-hmm,
up really late and then because my shifts are like different. 3 to 11. So
yeah,
like it kind of messes up my whole sleeping routine.
yeah,
Because when
yeah,
you're at work, you go home, you're just like you're so energetic, you're so energized because you just got off from work and you're just kind of
mm-hmm,
like I go home, I sit on my computer, I do like
yes,
games, whatever,
yep.
edit. So it kind of like I need some time management. I've been trying to manage my time wisely now. Like I've been trying a lot, like, but it's doing okay so far.
Yeah, but creative people, man, I always find, and I always tell people this, um, I find more stress in my role today for one simple thing is that I'm up earlier. And people would kind of laugh at that and they'd be like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Would you have to really wake up earlier?" I've almost worked the majority of my 13 years in this business starting at like 10 or 11. And part of the
Yeah.
and nobody really knows this. Most of my emails, I get up 200 emails a day, 250 emails a day. Maybe 50% of them are junk or don't matter as much. Another,
Yeah.
I would say 30, 30, and 40. 40% of them are something I actually have to respond to, care about, read, and it can be a lot. I do that from, I don't know, 5 to 7. When everybody goes home, when everybody has, like, I have time to think and read, that's when I do that kind of stuff. Well, when I get home at night, that's when I look at ideas like brainstorming. Most of my creativity, like my
Right. Right.
marketing, all comes at nighttime.
That's
So when
awesome.
I think about like creative people like yourself, you're a creative person. Your mind is thinking and awake and probably super active when everyone goes to bed.
Man, that
Um,
is so true. That is so true.
well, there's no distractions, right? There's nobody there going, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's go do this," or "Let's go to the park," or the sun's not out. You're not seeing anything. Everything just shuts down. So
Right.
I find, you know, and this is just something I learned throughout the years because everyone always told me, "Oh, you want to be successful? Wake up at 5 a.m." I'm like, "Are you nuts? What would
Yeah,
I do at 5? I don't."
I saw a TikTok on Gary V. He's like, it's not. He said something. He said something about like, it's not about the amount of sleep you get. It's the amount of work you do when you're awake.
Yeah,
He said
that's right.
something like that. Like he said
That's right.
something like that. So yeah, no. I was like, whoa, that is so true. Like I need to like apply that to myself.
Yeah, and
Because
the thing, what are people waking up at 5 a.m. to do? Okay, I understand people who are traders, they'll be stock market people. Some people go to work at 8 o'clock. Some people work out in the morning. No, this is the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to work out first thing in the morning. I think that'd be
yeah,
beautiful because then it gets everything out of the way. But imagine you're training. So let's say you're doing martial arts or you're playing basketball. Nobody's playing ball at 6 a.m.
no,
Nobody
no way.
unless you're practicing or training yourself.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying that when like there's so many contradictions in the way that people set that up. And again, personally, to me, I feel like I am a certain level of proof. Like I delegate. My guys know first thing in the morning. Yeah, if you really need based on emergency, call Drew. But there was even a time, and I hate to say this because I really wanted to be there. First thing in the morning, one time there was a situation in one of our departments where this guy was like really angry and pissed off, and it was during COVID, so nobody really knew what to kind of say.
right.
And And the guy was pissed off and was like, yeah, call the cops, throw me out, whatever. Found out later the guy had a knife on
Ooh,
him, one of our departments. It was wild.
that's crazy.
Here's the thing, though. Cops were there shortly after, took them away, found out that he had the knife on him. So nobody was trying to push him out or rough him up anyway. Well, by the time they got him gone, or just as he was getting arrested or getting detained, I pull up. Not a single person called me. Not a single person emailed me or texted me even just to see what was going on. I mean,
Right.
I would have wanted to know because, yeah, obviously, I manage all of them and I want to help them if they need.
Exactly.
But everything was handled like instantly.
Yeah.
So I think that was the only time in the 4 years approximately that I've been here, which is crazy, but that I would have wanted to be involved in something. But yet every manager, every trainer, maybe not every, I won't say trainer, but so many managers are like, yep, I got to be the first person there, I got to be the last one to leave. What was the point of becoming a manager then?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't you
Exactly.
focus managing those people to go and help and go take care of certain things for you, and again allow you to do the things that you're best at? So if my focus is marketing and I'm up till 2 a.m. focusing on one of our campaign ads, let me focus on that. So when I wake, you can deal with, if you have to call the cops or if there's an emergency. So I disagree with that. And again, I like the idea of waking up earlier, but I also think, how am I going to get so many of my other things done? When I get home, I have my own projects I'm trying to work
That's
on.
so true. That's so true. I just think that everybody's different, right? Like, I just don't think that, because
That's right.
in the media they say like, oh, that you wake up in the morning to be successful. I don't think so, because like everybody is different and everybody's got different time management, and every person got a perfect time that works perfect for them. Like for me, like, I think perfect time for me to work is like after my work, because like I'm so energetic. I'm like, okay, I got energy right now. Like, I could edit right now. You know what I mean? Like, I got so much time I got so many ideas. It's time for me to like think what to do next. Like, it's just, I get a bunch of ideas at night.
100%. And the other part in that I think that I push, and people don't know this about me, like most of my creativity was based on and at that time it wasn't that I hated my work, but it's not my passion. So I'm so motivated, basically, and they say this, like, go to work, build someone else's dream, go home, work on your dream, in a sense, and
Yeah.
and I always thought about that, because I was like, okay, so when I go to work, if I'm not passionate about it, that's perfectly fine, because I need money, I need to make things happen,
Exactly.
I need my money, I need to grow.
We need food. You need to pay bills and all that stuff. So
But after the fact, what are you doing?
yeah,
A lot
exactly.
of, as like, I think it was Gary Vee also who said 9 to 5, make your money, and then from 5 to 12, from 5 to 9, from 5 to 11, work on your own stuff, right? And again, that is based on the traditional timeline or time frame of what or schedule that people have. But for those who aren't, like, again, you're making money, right, because of your work. Yeah, you're working a different shift. You're still being creative. You're still doing the things that make you happy. It's not affecting your relationships, like with your family or your friends or
Exactly.
whatever. Like, to me, if you have all those things, then maybe your social life does take a bit of a hit. And I know that because, for instance, I would be off on a Thursday. Well, who the hell's off on a Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
and I remember when I used to work in like restaurants and stuff like that, well, bars, every weekend I'd be on. So when everybody was off on a Sunday morning, we'll say, or a Sunday day, I'd be waking up at 5 p.m. because
Yeah.
I'd be so my Saturday shift, because I was there till 3 a.m.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that whole Sunday is kind of ruined. So I'm not really, or I might even work that Sunday night. So I didn't really have the same time frame. So, okay, your social life might suffer a touch, but I mean, is that such a big deal? Let's say you have 10 friends. Are you going to see 5 of them as much? Maybe not. Maybe you plan other times. Like, not a big deal to me. Actually, something that I've discussed here, well, not even here, but with some of the like future trainers and some of the changes that we may make in the future. One of them is 4-day work weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be nice for people.
Yeah, and I so many people see that as, like, the old schoolers make me laugh, because they're like, man, we used to work 7 days a week and 12
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
You weren't
Because
happy.
they're working harder. They're not working smarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you know what? One thing I learned, how much of that time is working, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
spending all that time at work, there's, to me, there's not enough that you can do, or you don't have enough energy to be like 100% engaged with your work the whole time. I think about when I come to work. Now, don't get me wrong, I can stay busy all the time, but I could also take a step back and do nothing and
That's so true. That is so true.
be fine. Well, it's because I've done so much work and I've spent so much time here.
Like you
And
could show up to work and be like, "Yeah, I'm at work 8 hours," but then you basically didn't do anything. You could pretty much
yeah,
say, "Yeah,
work for
you
4 hours.
you pretty much went to work to do nothing." So you didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So what's the point? So again, the focus now is not necessarily time spent, but more production and
exactly.
productivity.
It's like productivity.
Uh,
Yeah, productivity. That is the big factor. Yeah, like
yeah,
I've been
one thing.
trying to manage my time with like editing and like because I edit the videos so long. That's what I noticed. I'm like I edit the videos too long and there's not enough people watching. So I'm like, why would I waste 4 hours editing when there's only a few people watching? So I'm trying to like manage my time in a wise where like like if there's only a certain people that's gonna watch it, let me edit the video perfect where it's just gonna be like just for those people, like start to grow the people first, like start to grow the viewers where
Right.
find what they actually want. That's what I've been trying to figure out right now. Like let's say they're more into gaming, then the viewers would be like, okay, then I focus on gaming, like it's just kind of like I do most of my work that way, like let's say people are more into like nature, then I would probably focus more into nature area, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like start
Uh,
growing the audience in type of way too. Like I'm trying to manage my time with my edits and my just the brainstorming, the whole thing, like just trying to go up there,
Well, and sometimes it's a good idea to just ask your people, man. Just look them
Yep.
dead in the eye, and poll them in a sense, and be like, what do you like? What do you want to see?
That's
And
true.
well, and I think it starts like, honestly, man. I watch some of your content sometimes. I'm like, okay, I love this. I love it because it's you. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think at one point in time, and again, the teachings of Gary Vee in our digital world is so real. And I think the thing I love about it the most is that it's basically the talks of, hey, be yourself. Like just do whatever it is you're doing,
just
just
be
do it
you.
for you.
Yeah,
Be and put up content that is for you and things that you love and your
yeah.
life. And I think what I liked about him the most is document the process, because what he talks about is, and I can't remember what he said, but he's like, hello, this video is for my uh, future grandkids or whatever. I think
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah or something like that he uses as a word. He's like, hello, like basically saying this is a moment in time that will never be the same again.
I
you know
know. I
so
honestly agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
you'll
Like
never be the same.
some people are too scared to make YouTube content or like to make a social media to post because they're insecure about themselves.
100%.
They're like, oh
100%.
my god, what is he gonna say? What is this guy gonna say? What is this? What are they gonna say about me? And for most people, they don't know that the people who's watching or the people who's following you don't even give a damn crap about any of your stuff,
Not,
like,
not at all.
and they don't matter. So like that's one thing I kind of got, in one of those videos that you see in the online. There's just like the generation right now is honestly like crazy, just with the technology, just the amount of information you get from the internet. It's just, I'm taking advantage of that
That's right.
100% because
And as you should, man, because you're right. And like I said, I'm even one of those people. Like, I have a couple of videos that I've put together that I haven't even released yet, and I'm like, you
right,
know what? Make sure that the time is right, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And I stopped one day, and I was like, and truly, part of it is I don't really have the time to manage it right now. But
right, right.
that's also an excuse, man. I could have someone else manage it, or I could pay someone. Like, there's so many other factors that I could
Yeah.
really help with. But you know, I think for the future, and not even for myself, I think for any generation after, you just got to not give a crap. And the point is, it's not, hey, I don't care what that person thinks of me. It's that person doesn't care about me. You know,
Yeah.
like that person does not give they have
No.
you know, they have a wife, they have kids, they have life, they have work, they have their own stresses, they have their own
Yeah.
insecurities. You know, like part of it is that they just do not really care about what you're
Like
doing and you're doing.
exactly.
So
You might get a few people that will hate you, but then you know, if you think about it, like politics, like they say presidents and stuff like that, they get hates too. You know what I mean? Like it's not just you. Like
oh, exactly.
it goes with everybody. You know, so you just kind of get that out of your mind and think that, you know, it's all about the mindset too. Honestly, like
Well,
with
and
everybody.
I
Yeah.
think
Exactly.
you know, acceptance is just this is who I am. Take it, leave it. You know, and if you leave it, then just leave it and
Yeah.
go live. But like that's something. Like I said to you, man, that's something I'm even working on. Like I have. Um, Julie, man, I'm just looking at it right now. Like I've done some sales content, some stuff just to help out, you know, people in their journey of the business, and I'm like, okay, I got to
Right.
get this
Right.
stuff out because, and my whole focus is this. I honestly do not care if people like it or don't like it. I feel like if there's one or two people out there that I can help and be like, man, you know what, Drew's sales tips helped me out, or you know,
Yeah.
something came where they blah blah blah. I would love that, man. I would love that so much for them just to appreciate that I was able to help them.
Yeah.
You know, like I got a couple of tips here. Like one is salespeople how to become sales managers, or 10 tips I have to do certain things. And I'm like, even if it just helps one person, man, you know, that's all I should really care about. And if they don't like it, then they don't like it, you know, or other
Yeah, that's
people.
so true. That's so true. That's so
So
true. Yeah, that's how
so
this. It's just
good,
it's good to see it that way because, you know, like if you don't, then you're just gonna be like, you know, hating yourself. You're just gonna be like not productive as much because you're just thinking about overthinking so much little things.
well, that
You
and
know.
every person's comments or opinions will mean something to you. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
again, good or bad, they shouldn't. They shouldn't affect you in any way. You know,
Yeah.
it should just be. It is. It is what it is, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So.
For yeah, man, for podcasts, we should start doing like that. Like you should start talking about, you know, tips and stuff like that. Because I think, you know, if we start growing this podcast and then people start watching and they'll be like, oh my god, this guy's really good with, you know, sales tips and stuff like that. Because I think it comes with podcasts. Podcast is honestly, once you start listening to podcasts, it gets you. It's kind of like whoa, like you digged in. You're like
Yeah.
you're locked in. You know what I mean? Like when you start listening to a podcast or like even just
Yeah.
watching a short clip. You know, like you're like whoa, this guy is I could learn something from this guy. Let me follow this guy. You know what I mean? So
True. Yeah, and
yeah,
you know what? I see that a lot. That's how I kind of get pulled in, and it's usually the shorter clips. I find that a lot more, where, you know,
yeah,
because days when I go onto YouTube, I'm like, I can't watch a 10-minute video, and then I end up doing it. But it starts gradual. You know, it's like
yeah.
I do a 1-minute video, and I'm like, oh, this guy,
Yeah.
there's
No,
something there.
I've been studying about YouTube video. I've always wanted to be in films, right? Like I've studied about like, you know, like how you put the title, the hook, and the outro. You know, like just kind of mix it all up. Like you need to find a hook that's like really good and put the hook at the very beginning of the video. So then once you get the hook, because let's say you watch a video, the first minute you get the hook, you're like, oh, you're hooked in, right? And then the content goes after. You know what I mean? So that's
That's
what, like you see how Joe Rogan podcast is like he's got like his own podcast like where he puts like 2 hour podcast, and then he's also got another YouTube channel which is for clips,
yeah, the small clips,
the small clips.
smart,
And I,
very smart.
you know what, I do not watch his 2 hour podcast. I go onto
Yeah.
the 10-minute clip. That's the one I watch every time. You know what I mean? So last night before I went to bed, here's what I did. I made a list, a reminder, bro. This is what I did. I was like,
Nice.
for podcast, after podcast, I'm gonna edit YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. That was my goal. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and if I don't do anything after that, I'm fine. As long as I get those big 3 done, you know. That was my goal. You know, I'm starting to do things like this. Remind myself to do things like, you know, just at the simple things. You know, like it counts.
Well, and things start to pile up, man.
Yeah,
Like if we
it
have
does.
reminders, like I tell my team all the time, I'm like, it's all about checklists. It's all about reminders. And there's little indicators. I don't care if it's a sticky note or
Yeah.
whatever, somewhere, you're gonna forget. You know, especially if you are like
Mm-hmm.
pushing yourself to that next level or going. it's difficult, man, because if you don't keep track of certain things, you're bound to miss. And that
Exactly.
one, like I
100%.
always tell people, I'm like, if you do 99% of the things right, that point nine or that sorry that 0.1% could erase everything else. Like it could
Yeah.
ruin everything else. So to me, I'm like, of course we're not perfect, but I don't want to
Hmm.
miss, And if I
Yeah.
do miss, it's the one-off time that whether it's a client or one of my team is like, yeah, you know what, he never misses, so that's cool. He missed this time. Big deal.
Yeah.
Not a big, where if you're
That is so
missing
true.
all the it becomes a reputation, it becomes a choice,
That is
and
so
people think
true.
they're like, oh man, he doesn't care about
Yeah,
whatever.
man.
He doesn't
That is so true.
understand
Yeah.
whatever, So to me, the focus is, yeah, just try not to miss. And that's good that you keep a list, because sometimes when I can't sleep at night, and I've even had troubles in the past little while sleeping, but because there's so much stuff going on,
Yeah.
I'll pull out my. And one thing I find that has really helped me is, and again, for any of my team who's watching this, they've heard this all hundreds of times. I always tell them, like, if you're having trouble sleeping or if you have a lot of stuff going on, write. Just write. Is it typing it? Is it writing it down? But all to me it's doing is taking it from here and like taking it out and putting it somewhere. Because
Yeah.
if not, it stays in here and it does this
It,
like
it, it,
constant.
on- it only stays in your brain, and then once you go to bed or once you like get distracted with something else, you forget.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
That is so
it,
true. Like that's why I started like writing stuff down, you know?
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You have to, man. You gotta
Yeah.
gotta have that. Gotta have those reminders. You gotta make
That is
sure that
so
it's.
true. That is, yeah. Yeah, man. I'm trying to like get much work as much as I can throughout the day. I even thought about, like taking like a 3 month off and then just focus on whatever it is that I actually want to do, like just go at it, just work on it for 3 to 6 months, like just be a freelance. I've thought about it, man. Like I've thought about it like so much. I'm like, man, it's not, I don't really want to work an 8 to 5. I kind of want to work on myself. Like I kind of work, freely, whatever. Like I could be working 24/7 as long as I'm working on my stuff. You know what I mean? But like the 8 to 5 or the 8 hour a day, it kind of like
I,
messes up your routine.
I gotta give you my opinion on that, and I know, just like you said, a lot of people are gonna think otherwise. And man, this is another teaching from Gary Vee. If you eat shit in a sense for the next 6 months to 1 year, it will completely transform your life. And I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you on that because I made music, I performed music a long time ago, and I
Mhm.
remember my issue with that is I didn't want results. I loved performing music. I
Yeah.
loved like right in front of
You just
hundreds of
enjoy
people.
it. You just enjoy doing it.
My problem is I never ever sat down and stopped and basically created a body of work.
Yeah.
The level of promotion is easy and it's great because that's the fun part. I get to go meet people, I get to go perform, I get to go and connect with people. I love that. That to me was easy because I always had like lots of
You
people around.
always have that
Yeah,
personality.
it was always good vibes. But the
Yeah.
problem when I went to them, it was like, yeah, Drew, like and I'm telling you, like I had people putting me on stage, never even knew what I did. I had guys that were like, yeah, man, you can go DJ tomorrow, sure. And I'm like, oh no, man, I rap and I make songs. And he's like, yeah, man, you could do that too. They didn't even care. Like they loved
Yeah.
me so much.
Yeah.
Like they just appreciated me, and I appreciate them. Shout out to all those people.
That's
Like,
awesome.
but I was also like, damn, it shouldn't be like that. I should have a body of work that I can promote. So when you're telling me, hey man, I want to take 3 months, I want to take 6 months, take as long as you need to, because I'm telling you, I look back today, and not a lot of people know this, man. I performed side by side, and had great shows where some of those people went on to do big things, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
a girl that we perform with, and it's funny because we were the last. No, we were the second last ones to perform. So in a sense, they came before us. She's big
Right.
now, man. She's like signed to Universal. She's
That
had
is
tons of
crazy.
hits, killed it, man. And I'm sitting here going, and I remember talking with because she was the sweetest girl, man.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
remember she goes, I didn't even necessarily want to perform. We were doing a fundraiser. It was like a charity event for
Mhm.
a great cause. But I remember looking back and I talked to her and I was like, hey, I just wanted to connect. I was like, when are you performing next? Or what other shows do you have? And she goes, you know what? I didn't even want to perform. And I won't perform probably too much in the next couple of years. And I was like, I'm like, why? That's the fun shit.
Yeah,
We're having
yeah.
a, don't get me wrong. I used to spend every Friday night in the studio. I would spend all these other nights writing. Like, trust me, I spent a lot of time in it, but I also had 80%. Let's say the number was 80% of my time was still on making money, work, taking care of my family.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I'll never regret that part. But I'm also saying is, what happens if I just lived a less comfortable life and took 50% of my time and put it to music or put it to something else? Well, what you're telling me, you're saying, hey, what if I took 3 months? That 3 months, if you put 100% into there, that's 6 months. To me, it'll transform your life, no matter what. No matter
Yeah.
what.
That's so true. That's so true.
I have no doubts
Yeah.
in that
No
because
matter
I
like with
go ahead.
time, honestly, it's just kind of like no matter what you do within those 3 6 months, it's always gonna pass by. Like, you know what I mean? I just kind of don't want to miss that opportunity. Like
Yeah.
I'm in school. I'm back in school right now, but online school. I'm taking the Google IT professional certificate, which
Right.
is, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of want that in my resume, and I kind of want that knowledge too. So, because I really love working with computers. So, yeah, no, I that's why I was like, yeah, no, if I don't do anything within the next 3 months or 6 months, I'm just gonna be working, making money, spending my money. You know, like it's just kind of like
What? Yeah.
uh, a routine. You know, like it's just I'm just going in circles, bro. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I'm just going in circles. So if I don't do anything within the next few months, like I'm just gonna be in the same spot as I am right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, yeah, man. Like I kind of that's why it came into my mind to take like 3 6 months maybe. You know, focus on myself. You know, get my mind out there, get my focus back in the track, and just go at it. Just go hard
Well,
and
and the best
see what.
about that, sorry, the best thing about that is like I think about people who have all the time in the world right now. They take it for granted. They're like,
Oh yeah,
oh, I have all the time. It's all good. I'm gonna chill. And
yeah.
I used to be. I had way more time than I had money at one point in time. When I stopped and I go, okay, what am I going to do with all that time? Well, I'm going
Yeah.
to start to build. And yeah, I did plan and I trained and I learned things. Don't get me wrong, like that was a part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think the bigger part that I really should have done is um, I should have done it at a time in my career when it was kind of a good balance, like where I had money and resources,
Yeah.
but I also made myself have a lot of time because I'm telling you now, like the time will come even in my career where I'm going to stop and not stop, but I'm just going to slow down. And actually, it's happening right now. I'm starting to adjust my time into different things because you know what? I have a great team. I have a great group of people around
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Uh, Learning things on a constant basis. Like nobody knows this, but during COVID, because I love film too, I was literally this close to enrolling into film school. I was like, you know what? Everyone else is going to be shut down. If this is online, fuck it. I might as well do it. 2 years. But dude, I couldn't believe the cost in it. It was unreal. It was like
I
70
know
grand.
it's freaking unreal. Like film school, I've thought about it, man. Like like the same as you. Like me and you, we honestly have the same freaking mindset or the same,
Yeah,
the same stuff that we like.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
honestly, like I've thought about going to film school too when COVID started. I was like, I looked it up. I was like, film school. I saw an ad. It was like Toronto Film School or whatever it was. I signed up. I was like, yeah. And then I was like asking, hey, how much is the? They called me. I was like, yeah, how much is the tuition for the entire course? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just $800 for the start, blah blah blah. And then it was like, I was like, oh my god, this is so much money. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, if I want to learn how to film, like just online, I could go on YouTube. Why don't I just go for free and
Or
learn it myself?
Udemy's there, Harvard. There's all of these companies now that are basically selling their courses for next to nothing
I
because they're
know.
recognizing that. And I think the one I sat in on an open house, and I think it was Vancouver Film School, which I'm told is a better film school. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also thought, I'm like, man, you know what? At some point in time, that is again something that I'm passionate about. So I would definitely go down that path. I think there's things that I have to focus on first, but I was like, let me look into it. But that was an insane amount of money that if I spent even a fraction, like if I think about, let's say it's $70,000. If I took 10% of that, $7,000, and went online to again look up how to make a short film or how to direct film or how to I will bet you I won't even have to spend $7,000 for those
No way.
courses.
No way.
No,
Not even 10% of it. Not even 10% of it. Like you could just buy a camera and then you go on YouTube. If you already have the equipment you have, like if you already have a camera, you already have a computer, you could pretty much do it.
It's
But
true.
there's just, I mean, 70 grand, like you could honestly maybe most of that, maybe with the camera equipments, with the gimbal, with all that stuff, maybe that's what 70 grand comes up with. But if 70 grand is only lessons, no way I'm not paying 70 grand.
Well, not only that, I know a big part because I remember saying it to them. I'm pretty open and blunt, and I just said, "Geez, that's a lot of money."
Yeah.
I think it's with equipment, so yes, and I'm sure it's going to be expensive, but I also believe that what you're paying for is their connections.
Oh
So
yeah,
that part makes a lot of sense to me
that could
because
be, yeah. Hmm.
you're paying them to open the door into other fields. So they talked about how like Universal Studios
Yeah, yeah,
or Disney
that
or
could be it,
Marvel.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, like okay, if I were to pay, but I would say this, I'm like, why would I pay you 70 grand to learn what you're doing and then do this? Well, and I'll give you an example. I went through in 2019. I went through dealership management school, right? I did it in a shorter time period than all of my other, well, not all, but a lot of my other colleagues. Some
Yeah,
people took 3 years to do it. I did it in like 9 months, 8 months. So
right.
I was really proud of that. But I also stopped and I go, why the hell am I doing this? And then I realized like certain manufacturers. So in order for me to become like a general manager, they required to have that. Well, that makes
Right.
sense
It
with
can,
some of
yeah.
these. Again, that course was, I don't know, let's say 20 grand, 70 grand for me to walk into, a completely different industry and
Hmm.
basically still not have a guarantee of work. When I
That's so
did
true.
this $20,000 dealership, I knew that I was already set. I already knew, okay, I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into full, I'm learning for that. With this, it's like they're not guaranteeing that you're placed or you're going to
Yeah.
have a place, right? So
Yeah, they should have like a better setup on that one. You know what I mean? Like 70 grand is big money. It's
huge money.
not
Well,
it's not a
they
joke.
want
Yeah.
well, they want you to pull a student loan. They want you to
Right.
stuck in it for a while. So,
Honestly,
but
that's really big. And then yeah, no, like I get the connections. Like you get to work with Universal, all those companies, like big companies. Like those are really great companies. But yeah, no, that's maybe some people might like it, but I don't think that's gonna be my path for
70 grand, I don't know.
spending 70 grand. I don't know about that, but since you could learn everything on YouTube nowadays, like you could pretty much make a movie
That's right.
without nothing, with just a camera. Like it's crazy how technology is now. Like they just you don't need, like, even with vlogging too. People are like, oh no, I'm gonna start when I have a better camera. I'm like, you have a phone, why don't you start vlogging with a phone, and then once you start growing, what then you
It all,
upgrade,
yeah,
you
it
know
all comes. Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, man, I think coming to a close. I think this is really just about action, man. It's really just about moving and doing,
exactly.
and
It's about
um,
it's about like what Gary Vee said. It's about the time. Wait, it's the amount of work you do during when you're awake, not when you're asleep. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to
exactly.
that. It goes back to that, man. It's the
Well,
amount of
I
work
hope
you do.
it's true, man, and I hope that I hope you do take that time because that's definitely something that I wish I had done. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with the influence that I have in my work, and I needed a really strong base because I wanted to learn business. I wanted to understand that. I think that's a huge part of where I'm going in my goals. But I think for yourself, like your work is not as much as you like it and enjoy it. I don't think it's your end all be all. So your focus in that next 3 months or whatever 3 months, that 6 months that you're going to use, put it down, man. Put it down and transform your life. Because I find like going back to music for a second, I thought about it, man, and I go, what does a successful musician make? Unreal money, right? Like
Unreal, bro. Unreal,
meal,
crazy.
like
You could
like
buy a
millions
plane.
of dollars. And I think about it and I go, okay, that's a long shot. Don't get me wrong. I get that. That's a harder road to get to. That's, you got to build your business. I've built many businesses for many people already. I've done startups, I've done companies, I've done whatever.
That's facts, though. That's facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I would have taken that effort and put it into my own, I would have been the business, and I would have been, and don't get me wrong. Again, that's still a path that I'm going and a plan
Why
that I'm
don't
going to
why
take.
don't you why don't you start working more on your music? Like start. putting your music out there. Start posting music videos out there. You know what I mean? Like, we could even bring it up to the podcast. You know, like we could promote it to the podcast. We're like, yeah, this is your music. We could promote it that way. You know, like, yeah, like there's so many things that you could do. Like, even when you're at work, man. Like, if you're just sitting in your office and then just, you know, start writing down. You know, think of a music. Like, I think you should start like, yeah, you should start doing it because especially you, because you're a little bit older than me, and I think you should put in the work now. Because if you don't put in the work now, when are you gonna put it, right? Like, I think you should do it because I see it in you. Like, your passion in music is, I see it in you. Honestly, like, I think you should do it. You should do it. Like me, I think I'm gonna do it, honestly. Like, right now, that's what I've been doing lately. Because my shifts are 3 to 11, and then when kids go to bed, I got nothing to do, or maybe a little bit here and there. But then it's pretty much just like, you know, sit around till shift ends. So that's gonna be, I'm gonna be doing work there too at the same time, because, you know, you need the money. So
That's right.
I'm gonna do it that way for now, and then as soon as I'm ready to take that 3 month off, 6 month off, maybe not pretty soon, but maybe later, you know, I'm pretty sure gonna get to take that time and focus in that goal. But for now, I'm just gonna work with whatever I have right now. So but yeah, no,
I take that as a challenge. I take that as a
honestly,
challenge.
do it, man. Like, honestly, like, even my girlfriend, like, she's really good with singing too. I tell her, I'm like, babe, you gotta start singing. You gotta start writing. You know. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm too lazy. I'm too shy with the front camera. I'm too shy in front of a mic. I'm like, I say people don't care. You just gotta do it. You gotta, like,
Yeah.
she's got, man. My girlfriend's got a really nice freaking voice, bro. Like, every time she sings, like, I'm like, oh my god, you got, like, I start recording. She be quiet. I'm like, come on, you, come on. I'm like, come on, you gotta get this out there because you have a really nice voice. You know, like, you have a talent. Yeah, and then I'm like, you don't want to work 8 to 5. I know you don't. And then I was like, you gotta do it. You gotta put in the work. Same with you, man. Like, I think you gotta do it. You gotta put in the work, man. Like, sit lunchtime, you know, 10 minute, you know, write down. Like, even with your editing too, like, edit your videos on your computer. You know, like, when your staff is not, you know, doing anything, you're sitting around, you know, you're not doing anything. You know, manage your time. Like, I think managing your time is honestly the most important thing. You know, like, even at work, you're like, okay, I'm at work now 8 hours. So, like, okay, you're gonna be like, okay, I can't do anything because I'm at work. But technically, there's probably like an hour or two where you're not doing anything at work. So use that time, put that effort in. You know, make it up. That's what I've been doing. So I think you should apply that to you, man. Like, it's really powerful. Do it. You gotta do it.
We'll make ourselves a deal. All right.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
From today, we'll start to get back. I'll start to get back into, because I'll be honest, man. I've been very undisciplined when it comes to that. I've been just kind of, I'll admit I've been lazy when it comes to that. I've been stressed with work, stuff like that.
Same here.
So now it's time to just shift and go back. Why don't you spend the next little while until our next episode? You focus on how you're going to get to that 3 to 6 months off and what you're going to do, and I'm going to get back to being disciplined about music. Deal?
Deal. Let's do it.
Deal, young man.
Here's the deal. Here's one more deal. I got one more deal for you. Every night before you go to bed, write down what you need to do the next day. Reminders of what you do the next day. Gotta do a deal. Right, let's go. All right, man. All right, that was it for this. That was it for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for everyone watching till the end. I mean, I'm not live, but whoever watched this on the replay, appreciate it. Thank you so much. That'd be it, man. That'd be it for the podcast, man. It was nice talking to you. It's been a while. Been a few months since last time we talked. It was good, but yeah, no, I think, man, it's time to get back on track. Cause, like, man, 2020, it's already 2021. Time is flying. My goal, man, 2030. My goal. I already set a goal. I already tweeted it last night. I'm like, 2030, I get 1 million subs on YouTube. That was my goal. 2030, man. That's a long time. That's a long time. I got.
Then, but hey, man.
But you know, but every night before you go to bed, make a reminder for the stuff that you do the next day.
All right, man.
All right, man. All right, peace out later. You have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Peace.